Hello and welcome to Fun Fresh Friday. We are. Hi, Stefania.
Hello. Woo! I'm gonna do my fun, fresh woo woo.
Oh, jazz fingers. So we a little bit of connectivity issues. I'm getting messages from Restream that we're having a little bit of connectivity issues. So we will be probably jumping in and out. Hopefully not, but hopefully we'll be able to continue on without this lagging, hopefully, because I can see Sonia's face and I think she's trying to figure out what I'm trying to say. Can you hear me?
No, I'm following you now. Sometimes there is a little bit of lagging, but I think I can
Okay.
hear you
Yeah.
clearly now.
Okay.
A little test.
Awesome. So, welcome. Welcome, Stefania.
Yes, welcome back. Have you had a good week,
Yeah,
Sonetta?
I did. It was it's going to be a rough week for the next probably week, a month or so. Yeah. Life stuff.
Yeah.
Just life. Yeah, just life stuff. So, we do have a shout out.
I do have a shout out. I have a shout out to David Edwards, my friend in Canada. We were just chatting earlier along, and I was telling him, come along to our fun, fresh Friday conversations that I have with you. Yeah, so he
Well,
may be
welcome.
popping in. Commenting. Hi, David.
Hello, David. Welcome to Fun Fresh Friday. Um, let me see. I have a shout out. Oh, I have a shout out. I have a shout out. She said she can't hear us. I don't know. Maybe you're on mute, but I can hear something, and I can let me see. Go to the Facebook and let me see if I can hear us. Okay. All right. Well, you know what? I think we are having issues. Let me see.
I had issues yesterday, big time. It
You
kept
did?
kicking my guests off. But
Oh. Well, look,
there may be
Restream, you
something
guys need to
happening.
do something. You guys need to do something. So yeah, it's not doing well, I'm not able to get on, but we're just going to continue on because I believe
Right.
they kind of fix it on their end, and then once the live is over, then it gets better. I'm pretty sure.
Mm.
Oh yes. So on YouTube, we're fine. I can hear and I
We're
can
trying,
see
yeah.
everything.
YouTube was fine
Yeah.
yesterday.
Yeah.
I think it's Facebook, really. I don't think it's Restream, to be honest. I don't want to say it too
It
loud.
could be. Boo, Facebook. No. So
I'll
I
keep
do
it
have a
off.
shout out. I have a shout out for my daughter. My daughter Zanitra. She's not doing too well in her first trimester.
Oh.
She's a trooper though. She's a trooper. So hello to Zanitra. Hello, baby girl. Hopefully that
Hello, Sinatra.
your little bout will end sometime in the next month, depending.
Or
So
sooner. Or sooner.
I'm sorry.
Or sooner. Hopefully
Or
sooner.
sooner, hopefully sooner, right? Yeah. So welcome, Monica. I hope you can hear us. She said that she can't hear
Monica
us.
Young says, I can't hear you. I can't
Yeah.
hear you.
But if you go to YouTube, you'll be able to hear us and you'll able to see us. There's no lagging, there's no any kind of delay. So if you go to YouTube, we are streaming live on YouTube. That's where everything is going good. I don't know Facebook, I don't know what's going on, but we are going to continue on with the show. So
Absolutely.
we have an interesting topic tonight. It's starting to, well, I would say that um, people are now more open to talk about mental illness or mental health, and but it still needs attention, because the reason why I say this is because we're still hearing of suicide, we're still hearing of, you know, real issues of PTSD, uh, some of our loved ones, and there's still a stigma of weakness. There's still a stigma of oh, it's just in your head. There's still a stigma. Hello, Natasha. There's still different
Hi,
stigmas
Natasha.
that that is that is attached to mental illness. So we are going to tackle it tonight. So, what are
We
your
are.
thoughts? What are your thoughts on mental illness or mental um, health? What are your
My
thoughts?
thoughts?
Mhm.
I think, oh, maybe you may not want to know my thoughts.
Okay, that's why we have this
um,
conversation.
yeah, I think my thoughts, we all have to some degree some kind of um, mental health, if we want to call it that. There is just different degrees, and
Mhm.
I think, I've suffered from depression. I've had, in the past, severe depression, and I didn't really know that I had that until, I guess, it was really diagnosed. But I was one of those people that I refused to actually call it that. I refused to call it even mental health in a way, like,
Mm.
because I know that that to me was actually drawing me down, because I'm so much about, and I know this is the topic about avoiding and being all positive and not really getting to the core issues. But I think the way it was presented to me was probably what was just so startling, and I didn't want to accept it the way it was. So for me, I think we all have some kind of issue when it comes to the mind, when it comes to how we process information, how we handle issues, how we handle illnesses. And I think we all have to find our own way, but we also have to know that we all, to some degree, have differences, different perspectives of it, and we have to respect each other's viewpoints on it.
Right.
I
You
think that
are.
that's really important.
Yes, yes. And respecting each other's viewpoints and their definition is also, it's a mutual respect, whether
Mm,
they believe in it or not. Each other should respect each other's perspective. So, hi,
absolutely.
Kenny. Hello, welcome to the show.
Hi, Kenny. How are you? Good to
So my
see you.
So my perspective is, yes, all of us suffer from, like what you said, from some type of mental illness. Is it, uh, does some of it temporary? Yes, some of it are temporary, and some of it are permanent. Some of them are long term um, illness. So he said, "Grazie." I'm
Grazie.
grazie,
Grazie in
grazie.
Italian.
Okay, grazie. There are some that are long term, needs medication, that needs professional help, but there are also those that are temporary. Um, so the ones that are temporary, I think are the ones that refuse to call it that. We refuse to say, "Oh no, I don't have depression," because the next day I'm fine. So I think that's where the rejection that we don't accept. There's no acceptance. There's the rejection. There's that no. The reason why I'm going to bring this awareness is those temporary bouts of mental illness, if not paid attention to, can become a long-term illness. And that's according to National Institute of Mental Health. That's if undiagnosed,
Treated.
treated, not really. We're talking about the brain. We're talking about different things that happen in our body. We have trauma, and that is where the mental illness comes from, because it's the neuro. So, did you know that there's there I think the going statistic is there's 1 out of 5 have mental illness in the world. There's 450 million 450 million reported. I want to say that reported 450 million reported individuals that have mental illness. Can you imagine how many is unreported or undiagnosed?
Diagnosed.
Yes, that is so.
Right.
That is yes. It becomes a chronic condition, and yes, when it becomes reoccurring, it does turn into that. And that's why this conversation is very vital, because we're now understanding that when it's ignored, it can become. So let's try not to ignore it. That's why we want some awareness. So, what are the ways that we can tell that we have some sort of mental illness?
Well, I think what's Natasha saying? Chronic, long-lasting, reoccurring, comes back, temporary, one-off. So what do you mean there, that you can have one-off situations, bouts?
I think temporary is it doesn't last that long. It's like a postpartum when you have a baby, you'll have a postpartum depression. That one, or let me see. Depressed about not having a job, not getting elected for a job. These are just different, temporary. You get over it quickly and go to the next emotion that is not depression. I think that's what she meant. Hopefully that's what she meant. Yeah, go ahead. What were you saying?
So what was the question? You wanted to know what signs do you know that there may be some kind of condition of mental health? Is that correct?
Yeah. How can we know?
Well, there's many. One main one, I would say, would. Right.
One main one was what?
Because it's lagging a little bit, Zanetta. I would say anxiety, like panic attacks, getting that, going from, being kind of smooth and to all of a sudden jumping up to this fright, flight, and going into the, the primitive fright and flight
Mm.
that can really
Mhm.
escalate just like that and remain high, and then go into a bit of for some, it can actually escalate to heart palpitations, high blood pressure, do all sorts of things. Yeah. Then from that, you get this drop, which I guess they call the depression, where you just can have really high days and then real low days. That's,
Mhm.
you can have that. That's kind of normal, but not when you're escalating so high and so down, or just remaining down. You may not have any escalations. You've come right down and you're going down and down. Mood swings, anger. You notice, or others notice, that there's an aggression. There's this outspurts of anger.
Mhm.
For some, it can also be um, eating emotional comfort food eating can also be another sign. Tiredness, sleeping a lot, being really like tired all the time, not having that that energy anymore, that drive, that motivation to keep going. Yeah, definitely. There's a lot, but they're pretty much the main ones, I would say.
Mm.
Crying is another.
Yeah, a lot more.
Crying.
Mm. So you've mentioned a lot of different ones, different signs. There are subtle signs, and I didn't know this until I was diagnosed. So I was asked, and I said no to this. It's like your your stream is having connectivity issues. Okay. So, um, so the question that was posed to me was, can I be moved or something like that? Go. And I said, yeah, I can sit still. And I was sitting there listening to the doctor ask me all these questions, and my leg was doing this. My leg, my foot, and and I would stop it, and then my foot would this, or I would start doing this. And so the did some of this. She would look at it, and I would consciously see her, and I'm like, oh, let me stop, because I remember as a kid, my mom said stop because I, do tap my leg. So that was anxiety.
Mm.
I didn't know that. I didn't know that was anxiety. So, yes, I have been on medication for anxiety for nearly 18 months. Wow. I was just put on anxiety meds. And it's so ironic that we wanted to talk about mental illness. I have been diagnosed. Hi, Miss Renee. Thank you for joining. So I didn't know that that was what it meant, that you can't sit, that you have to move any kind of movement, because what is conscious, I didn't know that I was moving my leg like that. I didn't know that I was doing like this. I didn't know that, I would do certain things with my body, even, normal, just like this. And then I'll start doing this. So I didn't know that's a part of my brain or unconsciously that, I need to move. I need to be able to movement or get that kind of, I guess, uh, so that my mind can go to it and my mind can focus on whatever someone is saying, because my mind is actually running 1,000 miles a minute. I'm thinking right now about my baby girl downstairs, thinking about my daughter, thinking about so many other things. So when I do my foot like that, I'm able to focus. So I didn't know that. I didn't know. Did you know anything about that, Stefania?
Um,
Those little
not
tips, those
to
little
that, not to that specificness. I mean, I know that, some kind of consistent movement, but repetitious movement is sort of a sign of, yeah, I guess a little bit of anxiety and, not a twitch, but that you're trying to eliminate that focus, and you're doing this tapping or movement, repetition of movement to refocus back to what it is. It's like getting into the now. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's the same thing with breathing. When you want to get present and your mind's traveling and doing all these things and thinking, and you want to quieten the
yeah,
mind down, what do we tell people in meditation? To get people in a state of, you change their state. You have them focusing on their breathing, just your breathing. So
yeah,
if any of you have thoughts coming in and out, you go back to the breath. Imagine, breathing in, exhaling out. And
yeah,
that is to quiet the mind down. So what you were doing was basically that, as a form of counteracting those, thoughts, and you wandering off and having this whole flash of stories coming in, because you can imagine on a visual, that's what's happening in your brain. You've got all these flashes of daughter, your daughter over in California, Jeff, the show, work, clients, your boss, paying those bills,
yes,
getting here, ring that friend, or whatever else
yes,
other loads you've got, getting the
yeah.
house in
You,
order,
you know those. You know
working with
those.
the,
Do you know those restaurants where they have all of those different TVs together? They're playing different shows.
yeah, well,
That's what my brain
that's
looks
that's
like.
what's happening in your mind. Right.
Yeah,
So
that's exactly what's happening. Yeah,
exactly. And that's
yeah.
when
So
we,
go ahead.
no, go ahead.
Yeah. So
No, I
even
was
with
just, I think it's lagging. That's why I was,
doodling, yeah, there's a huge lag. I'm not green on my side. You're green, but on my side it's not. So, and it tells me, Restream tells me, we're not having a connection, and then it'll fix itself. But even with the, with uh, artists, I doodle a lot. Even when you're talking, I'm doodling.
yeah,
So I didn't know this pertained to mental illness. It's something that we're not taught. We're not told. We're just told that we don't pay, or we're told um, what did can you say? It's a form of physically releasing stress, anxiety through your yes. that's that's
pathways.
exactly how I feel. I feel like I have to, do that, just to my yeah. I think he's said that. He has said that perfectly, just to get release that. That's what I do, because I have this. I know that majority of the artists have stage fright. My favorite singer, Barbara Streisand, she right. She before for the longest time she could not perform in front of audience. And that's why she never did concerts. When she would do concerts, she would be herself and the light would be on her, so she couldn't see the audience. So it made her feel comfortable because she's my favorite singer. And I had that when I was a ramp model, or that's what we call a walk model. I had that. I had that anxiety, and so I had that stage fright. I had whenever we would do movies. I had that stage fright. I had been going out when I go to the market or to the store or anywhere. I get in, shut back out. I didn't know that I had that anxiety. I didn't know. I just thought that I just didn't have time. I didn't want to do it. I wasn't cut out for it. Just different things. I didn't know that was anxiety until it was broken down to me. Hello, Anitra. Thank you for joining. Yeah. So I didn't know. And a lot of artists, a lot singers, Gaga, Janet Jackson, another one who have anxiety, PTSD, depression. All of them are suffering from these, but you could never tell. But they're now saying something about it. They're now coming out. All of them are coming out and saying something about it because of certain. I think I don't want to say. Well, I'm going to go and say it. I think the pandemic, COVID, has shed light a little bit more on mental illness as well because of what happened. We were forced to stay in. So all these external distractions was taken away. Going to work, driving to work, going in the office, dealing with people, coming back, driving back, and then having to deal with all these other things at home. So all of those are distractions. Now that you're home, you're forced to now face it. So I think that's what happened to me. It finally caught up with me. What do you think?
Well, most definitely. And I think there's probably, not probably, there are a lot of people out there that are feeling the very same way. It's just unfortunate that we were forced, that use the right terminology there. We were forced. I mean, if you think about it, it was a form of punishment, really. I mean, when people are imprisoned and put into isolation, that is punishment. And can you imagine what they're going through? It's self-destructive because you're in your head. You start spiraling down with all these negative thought patterns, self-talk. And, we really don't know in its entirety how many suicides have happened. I mean, I know I lost a very dear friend in Italy from suicide, from, the actual, everything that happened in the middle of the pandemic. There are those that, and I would never have known. She was like one, and she texted me the day before she did it. Left me a vocal message. It was horrible. It was and I didn't know she was doing it. It was just, she was saying her way of saying goodbye to me, And I pick up the cues. I did not pick up the cues. So yes, it can leave us feeling a certain way. And there is a big adjustment for a lot of us because a lot of us aren't going back to work. There's a lot of us that have to remain and home and work remotely and have to deal with that. So I think it's very important that it is addressed, that these conversations are had with professionals,
Yes.
with, people that can actually help you. And in some cases, medication is required. I'm going to be really honest. I am one for trying everything else before I start taking medication. That's my opinion. That is my personal, because medication is always medication. It alters the neuro pathways, if we're talking about anxiety and antidepressants, in your brain, because the idea, and in fact, I posted this, I sent this to a friend just today. Meditation removes the need of medication. Like, it is a form of medicating yourself through meditation, because the antidepressants is an artificial way of, changing the neuro pathways. the
Mhm.
neurons in your brain. Whereas meditation, when we can discipline ourselves, and that's the hardest part, to really quieten our brains. But if we
Yeah.
look at it that we take little increments of meditation or little increments of what's meditation, it can even mean going outside and putting your feet in the grass and just staring into the grass. It doesn't mean it has to be a certain way. Whatever feels calming and good to you.
Yeah.
And if you need help and assistance through that, then you may need that. But for me, and I have been on medication, but I always refuse to go on any kind of antidepressants for myself, because I'm just so determined. I will refuse to. But I guess maybe I wasn't severe enough. There are some people that are severe and really need it, and that's okay. There is a place for that. I'm not saying that's just for everybody. I'm talking about
Right.
myself.
Mhm.
And I know with medication and what it's done to my father, and he's got neuropathy pain in his legs. We treated it with tablets that his neurologist, and he started swelling, like
Mm.
he was killing his kidneys. And I just refused to have him die before his time. So pain management, neuropathy is something you can't remove. Even you can only numb it. And he was always sleeping as well. That was the other thing. So he wasn't his normal self.
Yeah.
So we have done other alternative ways of pain management for him. And he's chosen that as well. So yeah, I think there is a place for it, and for those that but I don't recommend that you stay on them for life, that you become dependent on them, because I've also seen the extreme where people have become dependent on them, and that's sad,
Yeah.
because
Yeah.
that's not using your own mind, your own being. Your soul is just being numbed from being you.
Yeah. When I was I like my doctor. She's a medical doctor. She's not a psychiatrist. She wanted to see if medications, but even with the low, my ability say that. You can say that. You didn't hear a word I said?
No.
It's telling me it's giving a loop.
Oh, I can't hear. Even Natasha said she can't hear you.
Stream. So, okay. Am I back now? Am I back now? Okay.
It's cutting out.
Yeah, I see that.
Yeah.
So, can you hear me now?
Okay, keep talking.
Well, yeah. Okay.
Yes.
So,
Repeat.
okay.
Can you repeat?
Yeah.
Can you repeat? Because we lost all that. We didn't hear
Yeah,
anything.
I can't.
Please.
Okay. So yes, my doctor, I love her. She's a medical doctor. She's not a psychiatrist or therapist or anything like that. So she wanted to see if she could help me with some of the things. And so she prescribed me some medication. And with the medication that she prescribed me, she sure that it was a low dose. And even with the low dose, I noticed a change in me. My irritability went, it skyrocketed. Just little things just made me blow up. And in my mind, I'm like, whoa, what is this? This is not you. So I immediately stopped the medication. I went to her and I said, no, I can't take this. She put me in another medication. And then that one gave me double vin, and it made me feel like I was hungover, like I was lethargic and I couldn't function. Oh no, I am not take this. So in doing that, I understand what you were saying. Yes, medication alters your. I don't know what those medication do or what they attack, or but I do know what I'm feeling, and it's not good. Yeah. So what I started doing, um, I started to know what emotions are starting to build up. I'm starting to be aware um, of what is this emotion? Is this depression? Is this anxiety? Is this anger? What is this emotion that's starting to build up? Is it low self-esteem? Is it PTSD? So I had to go through that first before I could say, okay. But if I started doing the breathing technique. So my go-to is the breathing technique. I just stop what I'm doing, start doing the breathing technique, and then start to calm down, try to recognize which emotion, what is it, what's going on, what triggered it, what is going around me that is causing this. So starting to do that, and um, the 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 result gets me to where I need to go until I'm able to talk to Jeff. So then I'll call Jeff and talk to Jeff. Um, and so and that's me. But I'm still exploring. I'm still exploring medication. I am. I'm still. I'm not. Not against it. But I'm also not an opponent for it. If it can help me, then good. But if I'm still, alternating my perception. No, I'm not going to do that because I have a child to take care of. I have a job to go to be present. I have clients that I talk to. So are a lot of things that really need to talk about as far as how, what are these different methods, like which is going outside, changing your state, changing where you're at, can change immediately. Just to go outside, take a deep breath, put your feet in the grass of the state you're true. Hypnosis, another one. Putting you in that calm state. I call it assisted meditation. For those that don't like hypnosis, right?
Yeah.
For those that don't like hypnosis, hear me again. You can't hear me?
Yeah, sounds good. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Yeah. Okay, because you're cutting now. I just wanted to add to that,
Go ahead.
Zanetta. And I think everything that you mentioned is right. I agree with that. And you mentioned changing the state, which I'm all for that. And, relaxing the mind, relaxing the body and all that, and meditation and breathing. And for some of us, we do all that. And then we still have this escalation of anger outbursts or anxiety attacks or whatever emotion you experienced and really started noticing, hang on, that's not me. Why am I having these outbreaks, right? You see, because as much as I'm all for changing the state, breathing, these are somewhat soothers, band-aids, like wipes that clean up the surface of what's going on now.
Yes.
But they're not going to the core issue of what needs to be healed. And that's why I believe so much in the, I guess, the hypnosis, the therapy, the NLP, where we work through timeline and we remove those emotions. We go deep and explore them, not remove them. That's the wrong word. Heal them. You can go back and heal them. And the first one, like there's so many of them that you work through, but the big major one for all of us, not for, one or two people, is the anger. We got to get and release. And it's the release in the body that it needs to come out of our subconscious, our conscious, and our cellular memory.
Yes.
Because our cells have memories. Our cells have memories. So the only way for healing, good, proper healing, is to work through and release them.
Yes.
How do you release them? Most of the time you need assistance because you don't even know consciously where they are in the subconscious mind. So that's, I think, where a lot of the relief will come, because once they're released and there's healing taking place, you can then do the meditations or do the changing of state, and it lasts. It actually, you get into a consistency rather than still having these highs and lows. I don't know if that makes sense.
Right.
Can you hear me?
Can you still hear me? Yes, it does.
It's delayed.
Yes. Can you still hear me? I can hear you.
Yeah, I can. Yeah, okay. You're delayed. You are delayed. That's what it is.
We're going to power through this.
Okay.
Okay. So, yes, that's a good description. Emotional flat. You become. Natasha said, also medication took away my. Definitely not for me.
Creativity.
So true. Yeah, not for me. Definitely. Yes. We also have. Monica said she did not recognize it at first. And I think that's what it is. We don't recognize it. And I think it's all depending on us. Natasha said, however, for the first time I learned what quiet felt and sound like. So I remembered that away the medication and started to hone in quietness within. Yes. Are you hearing me? Can you hear me, Steph?
Yeah, on and off. You're just going in and out. Yes. On and off.
Okay. Okay. So, okay. Yes. Change the environmental factors you have control over. Most definitely true. Yeah. So we're having some issues with Restream. It's only telling me that there is an issue. So it's not my internet. It's not your internet. It's actually Restream giving me this warning sign. It gives me the triangle with the exclamation point. So I tried to that time, but I can't. I can't. So anyway, all right, you. All right. Can you hear me? Just lagging.
I can now. Yes, I can now. Just keep going. It's just a bit broken, but I'm not sure if the others. It's the Russians.
Oh, okay.
Interference. Kimmy says it's the Russian interference. Possibly.
Yeah. Oh, okay. You can. Okay, good. Awesome. All right. All right. So we do need to talk about this, and I think I'm a conspiracy theorist. No, I'm playing. I think sometimes when something that talked about or made aware, I think there's certain types of interferences that do come along because of the freedom of from this cycle of illness, and I think that's what it is. It's a cycle. So when you're aware of it, when you become aware, then you become conscious of it. So the more we talk about it, the more you become conscious of it, more in certain things combat whatever the situation is to make you this whole person. And I believe that if we continue to speak about it, we continue to talk about it, we continue to make awareness that we're going to send it out there, and the interference of whatever it hold will be able to be great human beings.
Seneta? Hello?
I'm going to wait until
Hello?
you hear all of it.
I didn't hear the last part.
Yes. I'm here.
Yeah. Can I just say something about one simple thing?
I said I'm gonna wait
Yeah.
until it catches up to you.
Okay. 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 I think we're caught up. I think we're caught up. Anxiety is a form of fear, isn't it? We're fearing something. Can you hear me? Can the people out there hear me? Let me know. She's frozen. Zanetta? Can you hear me? What I just said? Okay. Did you see what I just said about fear?
Yes.
So if we just go back to basics.
Yes.
And we look at the opposite of fear is love. And if we can just start raising in little increments our vibration of gratitude, love for self, love for others, love everywhere. We start looking at and feeling the love, just really feeling love. Even that in itself can change that state of fear because it's the opposite.
Yeah.
And for some, it may even be, I don't know, picking up their Bible and reading a certain psalm that just soothes them. But it's based around love. It's feeling that love, being that love. You were created from love. You are love.
Yeah.
It's just who we are. And we are all one. We're all connected.
Yes.
We are all one.
Yeah. That is true. Can you hear me?
So yes, yeah. And even if it's just so hard to do anything else, but just repeat that word love, love, love in your mind
Yeah.
as you breathe. That in itself is just, healing.
Yeah. Yeah. I think you are you are right, because anxiety uh, does have something to do with fear. Because if I'm just going to look at myself, having this action is that fear of not knowing what to say because I'm such a help. Because I love to serve, I love to help, and I have that thing in the back of my head. What if I can't help? What if I can't? So that's the talk that's going in my head. Not good enough. What if I'm not perfect? What if, so there's these different questions. And I'm so used to um, people relying on me. If I can't show up, what if I can't perform? What if I can't, so these are the things that goes so used to it. You showing up all the time, taking care of things. So used to you being having the answers. So used to you if there's sure or a problem, you're who's fixing it or making sure it is done, or attributed. If it's a financial, you're always there helping. So these are the different things. And anxiety have you to think like that. Can you hear me? I'm going to wait
Yes.
until
Yes. Anxiety.
catches up.
Anxiety is, you're about to say.
Anxiety, the not showing up how people expect you to.
You see what you just said? Did you hear what you just said? The word you said there? Expect.
Yeah.
Expectations. Expect.
Mm-hmm.
Expectations. Whose expectations are you trying to meet?
Yeah. And that's what it is. That's what anxiety is. Expectation of others. Because you're so used to. It's no longer what is the word? Um,
I think we've lost Zanetta. We've lost Zanetta for a little bit. Zanetta. Her restream is a bit slow. Keep going. Keep talking. You're frozen. I think we're going to have to repeat this segment. So Zanetta has just popped out of the live. I'm not sure if you can hear me out there. Can you hear me? The fact that she's popped out. We're still live. It tells me we're still live. Just let me know in the audience if you can hear me. Hear what I'm saying? Yeah, technology. I had one of these days yesterday. I did my live and my guests kept getting kicked off. And then once I actually got on, or they got on, then I couldn't hear them. So there was a little bit of technical problems. But I guess Zanetta is having some struggles. I'm totally out of Restream. She says, Restream is saying we are having connectivity issues. Okay, so I'm still here. I'm still here. So we may have to repeat this show. I'm not sure whether I'm still live here, but I think it tells me that we're still going. Yeah. If anyone wants to mention anything, anyone want to add to what we've been saying, but it looks like Zanetta won't be coming back on. So we may end the live now because I guess, she was actually hosting this particular segment today to close it off. So let's see. Is she trying to pop on? So I'm still here, Zanetta. Actually, she's still trying to pop on. I think I can see you, but not totally see you in the backstage. So what would you, oh, here she is. She might be coming back on now. I see you backstage, or maybe I have to toggle you back on. Let me see.
Yes.
Hello, Zanette. Okay. I have to toggle you back on.
Hello. Oh my. Just
I don't know what's going on here.
out. I'm like, Restream just kicked me out.
Yeah, I can see. So I was going to say, well, she can't come back on. I'm going to have to close the segment because, it was Zanetta's show and she was hosting this particular segment. So when you popped back on, I went, oh, she's there, but I've got to let her in. That's usually the other way around. You let everyone else
right.
in. Anyway.
Yeah. So, it kept on telling me that it was something about the streaming. It was streaming. So, yeah.
Well, it's clearer. We can actually hear you. I don't know if the audience can hear us clearly. I can hear you better this time round.
Also lost the audience, and right now there's only two that I can see that's on. So some of them probably thought that we're like, oh, they're gone. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
what were we saying? Lost track of where we're at.
I know this is just so bad. I'm gonna have to take a look at it and complain to Restream. I want my money back. No.
Yes.
So
compensate you.
Yeah, that was very bad.
Fear and how we need to introduce more love by introducing more love. I mean, I know. I'll give you an example. Okay, my dad has been really, really ill, as you know, and he's been in and out of hospital. And the last lot was just nearly a month ago, 3 weeks ago, and he's come back and he was in hospital with pneumonia, like chronic pneumonia. And we thought we were going to lose him. So his anxiety was through the roof, and he kind of then drops into depression. And so he thought he was really going to go. And so he was living off fear. He was like surviving with the fear factor. And there was so much fear in him of death. So I really realized that. And that's when I was working with him with progressive relaxation every day through FaceTime. We had a phone that we could view each other, and I would get him into a state of relaxation and then have him really relax his body, relax his mind, and accept the messages of healing, of self-healing. And then I went a step further and, we started doing EFT, which I'm not sure if you know, it's emotional freedom technique. It's the tapping. Have you heard of tapping? Where you tap on your meridians of your body, and while you're tapping, you're actually sending love to your body. So I started getting him to love his body parts and sending lots of love to his bronchioles, for example, his lungs, his heart, because his heart then went into fibrillation. But every body part, we started loving it. We started basking in that love and sending love and being loved. And after 2 weeks, he actually got home, and, the doctors were really amazed. And even the fact that, he didn't get COVID, he survived that. So it goes to show that we...
No.
It goes to show that love in itself is healing. Just being in that state. But again, we need to remove, we need to release the anger. And there was a lot of anger in my father. And, we've been working through that. And yeah, it's just been an amazing journey. I can really see it. And that, I just give him so much credit, really. He's a trooper at 87, and he's open to this type of
Yeah.
healing.
Yeah. Yeah.
But just to soothe and be in a state of more ease, love in itself can create a shift. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah. I think, just by us talking about it, having awareness and being open about certain things, about our emotions and what we're feeling and the different medications and how it makes us feel, the different ways to combat, the different ways to, I think I'm frozen again. Oh, it's lagging.
No,
Okay.
you're good. You're good.
On the so I think, with the different things that we've talked about and being open and honest about certain things, you can actually start to relax a little. Because once we open it up and once we share and once it's out, in the open that, yep, medication and yeah, feel good, it becomes like off that mask. Whew, I can be myself now, kind of thing. It's a reliever. It's a it's another thing that you don't have to pretend anymore. That I told one good friend of mine, I said, I have gotten so good at letting my represent, because we all have that representative. We all have that. Call her my attorney, my escort. Oh, am I lagging again?
A
I
little bit.
am lagging. But I call her Zanetta Esquire. Yeah, I kind of figured. So I call her Zanetta Esquire, and I, you know, what an attorney looks like. They're very their faculties are. They know how to talk. They know how to say certain things and person feel good and pretty much show I have it together, but not really. So I've gotten so used to having Zanetta Esquire represent me that, this Zanetta that has anxiety, that does suffer from depression, that sometimes do suffer from PTSD, and that now that we're talking about it, I don't need Zanetta Esquire. Basically, I don't need Zanetta Esquire anymore. I can talk about, gosh, I didn't even know that I had PTSD. I was, gung and yay, I overcome it. I didn't know that I was still having flashbacks. I was still, and I didn't know the form of it, that it's still there. About it, I've talked about traumas don't really leave you because there are triggers. Um, but I didn't know, nor did I want it to label it PTSD. That's the thing. I didn't want to label it PTSD. I didn't want to acknowledge it was PTSD. There you have it.
So how are you feeling now? How are you feeling now?
Wonderful. Because it's out in the open.
That's
Yeah.
right. Well, that's the main thing.
Yeah, it's out in the open.
Can you see the messages coming through? The book called Body Keeps the Score.
Yes, the body keeps the score. Yeah. Yes, I have that book. It does. It does keep the score because it remembers, your things. But actually call the misconception of PTSD. You can chime in. It's only attributed to soldiers, to military, and we don't understand nor now they are saying it, that PTSD is actually attributed also trauma to sexual assault. Seems like one of your stream. Yeah, I see.
Yes, definitely. Even grieving over death. Absolutely.
Mhm.
Or, I had a girlfriend who I was speaking to yesterday, and her mother had a stroke, and she worked out that she rung her on the Wednesday. She was fine. She didn't call her on the Thursday, called her on the Friday, and she wasn't answering her phone. So she ended up going to see her, and she found her face down, and she had suffered a stroke. Her face was swollen. She was frothing from the mouth. And they worked out that she had been on the floor. We don't know how she didn't die. She had survived for a day and a half after having a stroke. And how they knew that was because she hadn't brought in her rubbish bins. Because, when you take your bins out for collection, that's what we do here. The council comes to collect. So she had taken her bins out, but the day that she normally takes them in, she hadn't. So they worked out that she'd been on the floor for a day and a half. So the anxiety in my girlfriend escalated because she then started feeling guilt, shame, all that fear. And it was all her fault because she hadn't gotten to her on time. So, yeah, it can hit in many which ways. What's your cat's getting in the mix? She wants to be alive.
Yes. Thank you. Yeah. I think that's why we use it with all gamuts of life now, because he says we minister with people who have suffered trauma. You yourself suffer some trauma. Lagging, isn't it? Yep.
Yeah, we may have to repeat this again, Zanetta, I think, because it's such an important topic that
Yes,
yeah. What do you think?
Yes, I believe.
I think we can redo it, and that way people can join in, had a taste of it, talking about it, and we'll probably get more people interacting because, acknowledging, as you said, is key. Acknowledging, being aware, and then taking the steps, the necessary steps to heal from it and release it and let it all go and look to a brighter future, a wonderful future.
Yes, yes. Most definitely we'll revisit. We apologize for whatever stream is doing, the freezing, kicking me out. Let's redo this. Yeah, let's redo this. Let us redo this. So,
Zanetta, can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Okay. All right. So we're going to go ahead and
just
close the show.
See what I just did, and
we want to just thank everybody. We just want to thank everybody for tuning in and being part of Fun Fresh Fridays. And we are going to repeat this segment. Not sure if it's going to be next week or whenever Zanetta decides. And we want to thank you. And we look forward to seeing you next week. Due to technical problems, obviously, we didn't want to end it like this, but we unfortunately can't do anything about it. So we're going to repeat it, and nothing lost, lots gained. We'll have more conversation and you can add to it as well. I look forward to it. And Zanetta, if you can hear us, if you can hear, say goodbye. And
bye.
Thank you, everyone. Lots of love.
I can hear you.
Passion. Good. Did you want to say anything, Zanetta, before we go? Are you able to say anything? Because you can't really hear you.
Deuces. No. Thank you. Yes. If this is lagging, I'll talk about this again. Stefania and I will discuss after the show as to when we're going to do it. So hopefully we will be able to do it next Friday so that we can have this conversation. And for those that will see the dreaded video on replay, join us next week as we talk about it. If it's going to be next week, because Stefania's show for next week, but we'll do it. So
no, we can do it. No problem. All right.
Awesome.
Okay, everybody. Bye for now. Love and passion. Thanks. Bye.
Bye-bye.